even with the ontological argument, as we have with the cosmological argument and the teleological argument. The biggest flaw and the fundamental flaw is what Kant points out, is that we are trying to establish the existence of a transcendent being who is separate from the world from whom we are deducing his existence. Look at the watchmaker and the watch. In the watchmaker and the watchmaker is other than the watch. The world maker has to be another, other than the world itself. Similarly, in cosmology, the first cause is other than the effects that you have. In ontology, again, the world is quite distinct from the ontological God that they're trying to prove. And the basic flaw with the first section of these arguments is that they are all seeking to prove a transcendent being from the bases which are temporal, and that is becoming an impossibility. Can we have your thoughts now? Sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm not touching on it, going back to the point that you told about cosmology explanation of the universe. I think in my number one was that when you talk about cause, causing cause, you are reminding me, you know, the listeners, it seems to me that there is a different cause, begetting cause. The cause is the begetting of cause. That's what I gather from the question.
You see?
There are likely the terminology of begetting in terms of causation.
Well, this is... Sorry.
You talk about circularity and being the meaning because it's supposed to start to get in. So the point is that we are now assuming that this universe is actually meaning when in mind whatever we understand of knowledge. The universe is not meaning. It's one last effective question I want to use upon itself. It's like a football, the surface of a football which doesn't go at the beginning and the end. So if time is not linear, even time is curved, as we know from Einstein, and the universe is actually curved. So to try and use this analogy of an infinite string of things going right to the beginning, where the dimensional way first goes through, is I think basically flawed because the universe is not linear. It is actually curved.
I'll take both of those points on board, and in fact I think I pointed that out, that Sadra himself pointed that out, that this argument is flawed. But I have a major problem with this argument. I'm saying even if you can concede to its validity, even then it doesn't prove anything. Yeah? Two, I think I pointed this out in the last session, that when we look at causation, this was a simplistic way of explaining. The causation that you're talking about is a horizontal causation, whereas what the Muslim philosophers talk of, and we want to develop this in the next sort of discussion, is a vertical form of causation, and this will be hinting at what you are trying to say here. That causation is a begetting sort of agency which is not right. Yes? It's not. It's just what the Muslim philosophers after Sina have described this causation as preparatory stages for the production of a thing. And that begetting thing is not there at all. It's only the efficient cause which stands in a vertical line which actually produces and begets. The horizontal causational system that we are talking about in this physical universe are preparatory stages only. So yes, your points are both taken on board there, and they both seem to be very valid.
We talked about the blind watching, I heard that talking that it is in the nature of matter, the sense of matter, and therefore from inorganic they go to transition to the organic, and over a period of time, United States is a person so that's one thing. I would like to elaborate upon that and to tell you a little more about Darwin. Are we saying that because we are believers in God, therefore Darwin is the nation of the material world or how life is developed is actually out of place or is insufficient to develop skill and everything.
I'm not taking any presumptions as far as evolution is concerned. It's an undeniable fact. Yes? As far as linking of Adam is concerned, it is somewhat of a mystery right now to me, at least in my view. Linking of Adam into this world. Adam, the father of the human species, into this world is a bit of a mystery as to how we link them. Yeah? In my mind, it's still a bit of a mystery, despite having attempted to look at the story of the Quran and deciphering it again and again. It's still a bit of a mystery for me. Evolution cannot be denied. Natural selection, survival of the fittest are observed facts. However, the jumps that Darwin makes from that are equally questionable. But can you conclude philosophically from that premise to that? It's questionable. What I will say is, and I've explained this, that species coming from other species without further argumentation. Yes? Mutational theory or genetic theory, you need something else there. However, the way Sadra is taken from Sohrawardi, in the way he explains evolution, and I've discussed this somewhere, he is really discussing evolution properly, in which he does maintain that animals would gradually evolve into human beings. And he has given it a very philosophical, sound basis. And it's surprising why none of the Muslim scholars have actually worked on this. Looking at Sadra and Darwin. Darwin's evolutionary theory, I've discussed it somewhere, I don't know where though. I've written it down. Darwin's evolutionary theory operates on the horizontal plane of this world, whereas Sadra's is operating on the vertical plane, which is a very interesting one if you can join both of them together. Yes? And when you say, as we are believers of God, as far as I'm concerned, there is no presumption. Until God is not proven, God is not there. Yes? And for me, the whole notion as we are believers of God doesn't make any sense. No one should uphold any theology until and unless they are convinced with it and it makes sense to them. Yes? So I'm not coming from a point in which I'm defending any theology, whether it's Islamic, Christian, Judaic, Hindu, whatever. And in my opinion, all of these theologies are correct anyway. Yeah? And even the atheist perspective is correct. But I'll explain that afterwards. Any thoughts on this? Yes.
This is what the gentleman was saying about the causation being curved. Is that similar to what Aquinas is saying in terms of causes and things being complex or groups of things? Or
you see, what we are saying is that when you look at the temporal world, as the temporal world, yes, you will not deem infinite regression of causes an impossibility. Yes? You can't deem it as an impossibility. And therefore to prove a God outside it through such considerations becomes extremely difficult. Yeah? That's the bottom line. Now, the other thing is this, that the way these arguments stand, they don't tell us much about the nature of God if they are left as they are. What I want to do now is, in a few minutes, inshallah we can share more thoughts. No problem. Right. What we want to do now is we want to show how the Muslims envisaged the first cause through their cosmology to try and arrive at the nature of the first cause. Still, with the persistence of that problem that we can't prove the first cause. But we want to see how they have modified the cosmological theories or the arguments in order to bring about the nature of the first cause before we actually go on in the final session and try and give the philosophical, mystical interpretation of God, world, and the existence of God.